As I'm finishing up this video, I'm going to share with you part of a story of a person who left the entertainment industry and tried to go back into it again. But before he came back, he needed to do something dark. Here it is.
Like I was just turned 20 at that time. So of course I want to write a movie script. I was working on my music and I was writing these, doing these music videos and everything because my whole focus was being very successful in the entertainment industry. And I always believe whatever I put my mind to, I'm going to do it. And so they gave me this opportunity to write this movie script and I said, sure, when do I have to have the script in? And they said, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I said, what? They said, well, Chris, we just got this project. We're going to be producing it. And they don't have a writer on it as of yet. So we thought we'd give you an opportunity to try your hand at, let me just step up here for a second. We thought we'd give you a hand at trying to write a script and see how you do. So I told them, all right. I left from their office and I went to the supermarket and I bought myself a can of coffee. And I went back home and I took that can of coffee and I put it down on the desk next to me and I began to write. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and then I started getting tired, and as I started getting tired I opened up that can of coffee and I put my hand in there and I took out about 3 handfuls of coffee and I ate the coffee. I didn't drink the coffee. I ate the coffee, handfuls of it. And you could just imagine within a few minutes I had, the whole fishbowl eye effect going on there, and I'm just there, writing. Before 8 o'clock the next night, I went into my manager's office and I dropped on his desk a 200+ page script. And he looked up at me and said, what's this? I said, that's the script you asked me for. He looked at my other manager and he said, is it any good? I said, I have no idea. I had no idea what I wrote. Turned out that the script was good. It was so good that they started passing it around to different executives in the entertainment industry. And then they said, you know what? We got another movie project we're getting ready to work on. Would you like to work on that? I said, yeah, sure. We'll have to have the script in 2 weeks from now. Okay. For 2 weeks we're up, I'd have that script in. Hey, we have another movie project we want you to work on. We'll have to have it in 3 days from now. Okay. Hey, we have a pilot we want you to work on. We'll have to have it in a week from now. Now, if you know anything about writing movie scripts and pilots and all of this, you don't write a movie script in 2 weeks. You don't write a movie script in a month. The average movie script takes 6+, at least, really truthfully, a year or more to really write a movie script. I became known as this guy that would write movie scripts in 2 weeks, 3 days. Are you following me so far? I'll never forget one day, and by the way, most of my movie scripts I would write when I was at my girlfriend's house. She was a Haitian young lady, and I used to smoke marijuana over there, and her father practiced voodoo in his home. Are you following me? I'll never forget one day I went home and I looked in the mirror, and I saw that there was something in my eyes that was not me. And I smiled. And the reason I smiled was because I knew whatever entity it was that was with me, it was what was helping me to be successful in the industry.
Did you catch what he just said?
I knew whatever entity it was that was with me, it was what was helping me to be successful in the industry.
Yeah. There's something that helps you, an entity, whatever, because that happens that you can't never explain. I don't give nobody say.
Because I was writing scripts, making money, I'm young, I'm hanging out with all the big names in the industry, and I'm getting ready to do big things. I was at the point where I wasn't asking anybody for a deal, they had to propose to me. I was at a very good place, you could say, in the industry. I'll never forget one day, I'm not going to go through the whole of my story. I'll never forget one day, though, the Lord got to my heart. I won't go through how he did that. He got to my heart, and it was out of nowhere. It was like a Damascus Road experience, literally. The Lord just started speaking to me out of nowhere in my mind as I was in the midst of sin. He said, Chris, you need to stop doing this. And I said, Lord, I need to stop I need to stop smoking. You need to stop, making the music. I need to stop making the music. Everything the Lord said to me I need to stop doing, I said I need to stop doing it. Right back to him. He said, you need to go to school and become a preacher. I said, I'm going to go to school and become a preacher. I went home that day and my friend called me on the phone. He said, what are you doing tonight? You going to be in the studio? I said, no, I'm not going to the studio anymore. I'm not writing movies anymore. I'm not doing my album anymore. I'm not smoking weed anymore. I'm getting ready to go to school and become a preacher. He said, what? I was with you in the studio last night. We were smoking together last night. I'm not going to work. I'm coming over and you're going to tell me what happened. Because it was absolute insanity to everybody. Because everybody that was in my inner circle, they knew that I was just getting ready to ink $1 million deal, literally. And so they all wanted to know what happened to me. And when I expressed to them what happened to me, everybody that was in my inner circle gave their hearts to the Lord. Everybody. Same week. Because they knew where I was. And they knew what I had at my fingertips. And they thought, man, if this guy's giving all this up for God, this has to be real. But because I had not made a complete surrender of my heart to the Lord, I got to a point where I said, I was actually at school. This is the first week of school, actually. I came out of the theology department at school. And I walked out onto the front lawn and I looked around and I saw all these young people with book bags and books and pens and books and stuff. And I thought to myself, what in the world am I doing here? These guys are studying to get jobs and I've just left money. I said, this is crazy. And to make it all worse, when I went to my dorm, there was a young man that had this hip hop magazine, that inside of the magazine, it had an advertisement for a movie that I wrote that was getting ready to be released in the theaters. I thought to myself, I need to be back in New York at the premiere of my movie. I'm here with some books in my hand. This is crazy. And so I ended up just completely flopping in my relationship with God at that point. I said, I'm going back and I'm gonna get back in there. I'm gonna make my music and write again. When I went back to write, I could not come up with the first line, the first sentence. Are you following me? Nothing.
I knew that there was a
praise the Lord
that had aided and assisted me.
But I was still twisted in my brain at that time.
Really frustrated, and I said,
I said to myself, you know something? I know what I need to do.
Denounce Christ.
I need to denounce God. And if I denounce God, it'll all come back to me again.
Did you catch what he just said?
And I said to myself, you know something? I know what I need to do. I need to denounce God. And if I denounce God, it'll all come back to me again. And I'll never forget, I went to the jewelry store and I went to go buy some jewelry. And I went to buy some jewelry and I looked around and said,
I told the jeweler, okay,
I want
like
those.
Ones.
What I wanted was some rosary beads. Because I knew that rosary beads were connected to the Roman Catholic Church and all their pagan origins. So I said, good, I want those. And then I told the jeweler, I want you to turn the cross upside down. Because turning the cross upside down means the denunciation of Christ. And then I told the jeweler, I want you to turn the cross upside down. Because turning the cross upside down means the denunciation of Christ. And then I told the jeweler, I want you to turn the cross upside down. Because turning the cross upside down means the denunciation of Christ. And he said, why would you want to do that? I said, because I'm paying for it. That's what I want you to do. So he gives me this chain and I said, okay, I know what else I need to do. And I go and I start to smoke marijuana and all these things and I begin to look in the mirror. And if you know anything about spirits, cold in the mirrors and all that, I'm not going to get into all these things with you, but I was looking in the mirror and I'm just trying to get myself back in that mindset. Do you know, within time, it all started coming right back. My point in telling you this story is there is a spirit behind the music. There's a spirit behind the media. This stuff is not just something that I'm showing you. I know this from first-hand experience. It's real. The devil is trying to ensnare us in his net. And the only way we can be liberated is by standing in the liberty wherewith Christ Jesus has made us free.